Everyone is asking, how do you have a consistent editing style? How do you create it? How do you make sure that your clients know this is the photos Sam took or you took? And this is how I do it. I make sure every preset I use has this tool inside it, and it uses those 3 specific ones. It's the most complicated tool, but it's also the most powerful tool. And I think, in my opinion, it gets any photo in any lighting situation, if it's dark, if it's with a different camera, if it's light, if it's all those things, it gets the same color grading, you see the same difference. This difference is basically your shadows are a little bit warmer, your highlights are a little bit colder. And this is what we can create with it. We can also do similar things with this tool, because we can create this thing, but this one is just more powerful, precise. And actually this tool we didn't had till like a year or 2 years ago. So those highlights and shadows, we used to have only this. So we always had this, and this is really powerful. We use it also in video. Okay, I'll show you what it does exactly. This is the difference between whites. This is white, this is black. This is white, this is black, obviously. And we can see if I turn it down, there are no more whites. Now the whites are gray, right? So if I do like this, then the midtones are white, right? And if we do it this side, then everything becomes white. And if we do this, everything also becomes white. And then here it does the same thing, but for color, right? We make everything red, or we make everything blue. You see, it's blue, red, because it's opposites. So this affects the red, but it also affects the blue. And now it's really complicated because we have 5 things to play with. And those are the most complicated things. This only affects the tones of the photo. This affects the colors and the tones of the photo, which makes it more complicated. But let's start with those 2. So this is the easiest. This is basically a little bit like this one. We can make the highlight midtones lighter and more white, right? Now they're completely white. You cannot see any detail here, or here, no detail. And then here, you do the same thing, but for those, and then here, or here. So you see what it does? Let me know if you want me to add this photo also so you can download it as well. So you see what it does. Now we can see the same thing here. If we put it all the way up, all those are completely white. I bought a lot of presets in the past, and I've looked at how they use the curve tone. Everyone that didn't use, I never used, because I got super disappointed from the colors. And this is what I learned. This is the most powerful way. But I learned how different people use this tool, and it's really interesting, because some people use it like this. They crush the whites. So white is never white, which can be sometimes really beautiful. It depends on the style a little bit. But what I found the most is that usually when we take photos, we take them in RAW, right? And RAW has a lot of detail. RAW photos have a lot of details, but they don't have contrast too much, because we want to have a lot of dynamic range, the difference between white and gray. So all this, we want to have a lot of it in the photo. So what we want to do with RAWs, we want to contrast them always. Everyone loves contrast. You can overdo it, obviously, and you can see it here when you overdo it, but we always want to make a little bit of an S-curve. If you have an S-curve, then it makes it more contrasted. Now you can see this is darker than it used to be, which you can see. See, this was lighter, now it's darker, and this is wider also. So this is what this does. So if I, for example, I make this here and I put this here, then the midtones, which are here, or I mean, I can even do it like this, and then all the midtones are white, or we can make them black, you see? And then what we can also do, I've seen this in film presets. Wait. They love doing a little bit of this subtle tone curve. And it creates a really special effect. And I can show you if it will work. So you see now here, you can see a little bit of detail, which makes it a little bit interesting and creates a little bit of this filmy look. Better in black and white. We can make it a little bit. I'll actually show you some of the presets I made. So you see here, I crushed the whites, and I crushed them a lot. So now this photo is not beautiful, just if it's like this. Or very filmy. Yeah, those are some tone curves that I used in the past. Anyway, how I really use it is I don't touch it too much, to be honest. I make one preset, or I buy one preset, and then I don't touch it too much. But sometimes when I make my presets and I'm not happy about, or when I buy a preset even, and I'm not happy exactly about how the whites are looking. So for example, let's use nostalgia. All right, that's a preset I created. If this doesn't feel white enough for me, so first of all, we can always do this. We can do this. Changes the photo a lot already. So here you can see it affects our skin tone, because this is really like here. So you can see with this tool, you can see exactly where we're at, right? And now this, I want to really make white. So as you can see, this tool I never really use, just to adjust some things. But this tool I use a lot. And now it's completely white, the background, right? And I mean, I can obviously also do it with just select the background and do it on that. But now it's really white. And then I actually love this preset right now, like this. I might save it later. But this is really nice. And now this is white. And I mean, if I feel like this is not completely white, which I cannot know here actually, I'll know it in Photoshop. If I export it and then in Photoshop, I'll see what color it has. But I don't really do it. I just do it with the eyes. I can like play here with it. So this looks more white to me than this. So we took off a little bit of the reds here, right? And you can see it doesn't really affect the skin tones, because the skin tones are in the middle. So here, if I want to affect her skin, then I'll play with this one here, right? So if I take it a little bit normal, then it will make it more purple, which we don't like. We like it a little bit greenish. This is beautiful. And then here, I like it a little bit bluish. No, I like it how it was. But this is the only reason I would really play with it. But if I were to create my own presets, then I would, first of all, if I don't use the other method that I used, then I will just reset it. Have the photo I wanted. This is supposed to be white. This is red. And then I would create an S-curve on the three of them. So here we have 3 lines, right? So this is the shadows. This is the midtones. This is the highlights. So then I would add this point here, have this in the middle, and this as an S-curve. I'll make S-curve that looks similar on the 3 of those. And I'm not perfectionist about it. If I would be, then I would look up to those numbers here. But I'm not. And then I'm just using my eyes, right? And usually, I care the most about the skin. I like the skin. So I wouldn't touch it here. And we just play with this here. And then now I just look at the skin that I like, and I try to make it how I really like it. So I know I like a little bit greenish in the green. Yes, I love this. And then if I want to make her skin a little bit more golden, I'll use yellow. So I'll take this a little bit down. And maybe I'll take this a little bit down as well. Beautiful. Beautiful. So you see, we already got a big difference. Now, I don't like this. I actually like her to be... You just play with it like this. I use this to even it a little bit out, so it's not so sharp. And on most of my presets, you'll find that I do something like this, because I do want my photos to be sharp, but I don't want the skin to be too sharp. I like this. And then what I would do, I will just copy those settings, right? So Command C, and then I would paste it on a lot of different photos, and I'll tweak it to make the photo that I really like out of it. And with times, But times goes on, I play with more photos, and then I tweak it more and more, and I save it to my presets, and then yeah, it becomes better every time. And then I go back to the original photo, I see how my last version was, I see if I like it. If I don't, I tweak it a little bit more, and then till I don't tweak it, till I don't want to tweak it anymore, because it's perfect on all the photos. This is how I make my presets.
And they, oh yeah.
And after that, I would go here and I would play, usually not with this, because this is what we base the preset on, but I would try to create also an organic S-curve on it. The greens are very important and sensitive for me, so I know I need to like something like this. Now we can also make this whole photo a little bit more contrasted. In film photos also, they love crushing the blacks and the whites, because back then the dynamic range was a little bit shorter. So the dynamic range means the difference between the whites and the blacks. So they used to have a little bit more stuff like this. Wait. Stuff like this sometimes, right? Now we have a bigger difference between blacks and whites. And I'm not going for a filmy look now, so that's why. I'm happy with it, actually. This is looking quite good. I'll be honest, there is a lot of training of it takes time to train your eye to know what looks good. And what I used to like at the beginning was really different than what I like now. But I bought a lot of presets which did stuff like this, and I really loved it. I was a big fan of it. Love it. Now, this feels a little bit too bluish to me, so that means I can something like that. How they have. I love this. I don't actually. I don't, because I see here that it's weird. It's too green. So it's really subtle moves here. Really subtle. Now we can look how it looks like here. Boom. So the midtones are really cold for some reason, which looks actually very different in here. Interesting. But now I try it on different photos. I love her eyes, but her skin can be a little bit better. You can see it's too green. So there's two ways. I can put it a little bit down, but I can also play with the other ones and lift down a little bit. This looks really white to me. I like that. I just don't like her skin, which means that it's in the midtones. Start to like it. One thing that I see that a lot of, like a mistake that I see that a lot of people make with orange and teal style. They love to make everything orange. They like to make everything, instead of blue, teal. So instead of red, they put everything to orange, and instead of blue, they make it, right? And you can do that really good here.
Chap.
And then it looks really beautiful for some people, but I do it a little bit with my thing. And the mistake they do often is they make the lips also orange, and then it feels like it's off. There's something off about the photo and they don't know why. And then I always point it's like the lips can't be the same color of the skin because it just doesn't look natural. So instead of doing this, we just bring this back to red, and then it's like, oh, wow, now it makes sense. So that's something I helped people with in the past. Now, great. I'm starting to really like how it looks. Look at two different presets, as you can see. Now I can see it's a little bit too contrasted, so I will take this. The difference, by the way, between this one and this one is that this one takes all the colors that are not so vibrant, that are not so strong, and it makes it stronger. So for example, it might take this greenish color and will make it stronger. And this one just makes everything stronger, right? But this does it in a more subtle way. It's the difference between this and this is big. So you see, it doesn't make it really black and white, because there are still colors here. But this will make it black and white. Great. Oh. It's gone. And now it's much more even, as you can see. Great, now you know. Success, have fun, and happy editing.